Hello, welcome back to the Can Grind podcast. I'm here today with Simon.
Hi everyone.
Simon joined us a couple of weeks ago and we thought we'd take a little moment. He's been on a couple of podcasts already, but we thought we'd take a moment to meet Simon. Let's introduce him, see what he's been up to, see what he's looking forward to doing.
My name is Simon Myatt. I've joined Cunning Plan 3 weeks ago now, so it's all good. A lot to learn, but some really good work that we're doing. So my ambition here really is to sort of help James and the team drive the business forward, bring in some fantastic clients as well to add to the wonderful portfolio of existing clients we've already got. So yeah, exciting times ahead for me, definitely.
Cool, very good, very good. So what sort of thing were you you've been doing previously?
In terms of my career, I started at TBWA Manchester. Before that I did a advertising and brand management degree at Manchester Metropolitan University, which was very interesting. It was actually the first year that they ran the course, so it was great that afterwards we had to go back and explain to them all the things we thought that they could improve on afterwards, which was great. From doing that course, I had a photographer friend who knew an account director at TBWA, and what I actually had to do is I had to do interview for a 4-week non-paid placement throughout that summer, of which there was 5 other people going for, and I managed to sort of get that 4-week non-paid placement. And that gave me a real opportunity to sort of work in an agency, show them what I'm capable of, really absorb all the information and the way things work, and learn about the different departments of an agency.
When you were you go for that first interview, at TBWA. So you're going for this is an unpaid job. A lot of other people going for the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those things, you know, with the bigger agencies, it was so desirable to get a job there that they knew that they could do that with graduates, you know, get them in a sort of 4-week unpaid placement. It helped them. You know, I think it was a great thing that they offered me, and it worked out really well. And then when I got the job, I sort of joined quite a small account team. I was working on some quite fast-paced retail accounts. So I started on the Wix account, so the DIY brand Wix, doing all their sort of, they had quite a big catalogue, monthly catalogue, so we were doing all the artwork and design for the catalogue as well. So, and we also did some out-of-home advertising as well, so we were doing like 48 sheets and all that sort of thing, and, you know, bus stop posters and everything else. And I was also working on the Jessops account, Jessops obviously a huge photographic retailer. We also worked on the Wellbeing Cafe, so I had quite a lot of sort of a very fast-paced, very quick turnaround sort of design and artwork jobs. So it was I had to learn to be organised at a very sort of early stage.
Nice. So where did you head next after that?
Yeah, so I was at TBWA for about 3 years, and then moved on to an events agency called Fresh. You know, they were again a sort of a very fast-paced, fast-growing agency, really sort of vibrant. Did a lot of work for some big clients as well. So I was working on, I worked on the Macro account and also Barclays as well. So, and the idea with that really is it's kind of like mass-scale corporate events in a very sort of creative way. I then joined an agency called Atom Marketing. They're based in Wilmslow in South Manchester. Great agency, a lot of experience with promotional marketing and partnership marketing as well. So when I first joined, I was working on the Sony Pictures account. That was really quite interesting. We had all the different film titles, all the theatrical films. So we would get a brief for that film, and then we would basically go out and find suitable brand partners to partner with that film. So we would be in discussions with a range of brand partners. And it was really interesting. I think my first couple of months we worked on the Total Recall remake with Kate Beckinsale and Colin Farrell as well. Really, you know, interesting film, and we partnered with Papa John's, the pizza company, and basically what we organised with them is they sort of like ran a promotion, as well as they designed a Total Recall pizza that went across their different pizzas.
What sort of Total Recall pizza?
It was quite a meaty pizza, I think, with chilies, and I think it had pineapple on as well, so it was a little bit out there. It was quite, it's like a spicy Hawaiian, you might say.
Spicy Hawaiian, nice.
Yeah, so it was that was really interesting, and got to go to quite a few red carpet events and things like that as well. So it was it was quite nice to rub shoulders with the celebrities.
Nice.
I think the one that, you know, if you ask me what would I be most proud of in my career working on, I think I ran a pan-European promotion, including America as well. for Chiquita and the Minions film. So it was, really sort of, we designed loads of different Minion characters that went on the little iconic blue Chiquita label, so that was fun.
So what was, come over here.
Yeah.
Glad to have you as you're a senior account manager. What advice would you now give you going for that unpaid internship all those many moons ago? Or what advice would you give to somebody who might come through the door here looking for an opportunity like that?
I mean, it's really interesting. I was sort of talking about my course at Manchester Metropolitan. It was great sort of learning about marketing theory and everything else, but they didn't tell you about agency life or what was that about. Because I remember when I went for my 4-week non-paid placement, one of the questions is, which department do you want to work in? And I was like, I don't mind. And they were like, well, do you want to be a planner? Do you want to be creative? Do you want to be an account handler? And I was just like, I didn't know what any of those were at all at that time, because nobody had ever sort of explained that to me. So, there's little things like that I would sort of go back and tell myself before I went in, because that was a little bit embarrassing to sort of be stood in an agency and not know what all the different departments were.
That's interesting, because we've got, actually later this week, we'll be chatting to David from MMU, and he's doing a lot of work on helping get candidates agency ready for trying to bring real case studies into into their course and everything like that. So it'd be dead interesting to talk to him about that subject and how they're getting people, candidates more ready for going into agency. Because I know we see that a lot. People who come out of education straight into the workplace, it's not it's not the same thing.
No, definitely not. And there's a few tips that I would always sort of say to people starting out, in agencies. There's things that people, it's key parts of the job, and perhaps it is or isn't listed in job requirements or job descriptions. But I think being organised is the main thing. I think having a proactive approach is something really important, and something probably quite overlooked by people, and maybe not in the top of their mind when they start. So I would always say, try and be proactive. Don't just do the job that you're given. Don't just do the things that you're asked of. Try and think about ways you could add value to your team, to your accounts, to your clients. Because I think if you just stop and take a bit of a considered approach and think about, I know I'm new to this job and I'm still learning everything, but how could I improve things? If I put my own mind to this, how could I make this better? How could I add value? And I think if you do take a little bit of time to do that, and even if you suggest ideas that aren't accepted by the team, I think the fact that you're coming up with some suggestions will be really well received. And I think, as you grow in your experience, if that was the case, I think as you make more and more suggestions, they would have more experience and credibility to them, and you would probably find that, these ideas would then be put in place. And so on.
It's a bit of a cliche, isn't it, that whole no bad ideas, but it's, just having the idea is sometimes what that's what people want to see. When they're looking at everything, if you're saying, we could try this or we could try that, or why don't we do this, maybe none of those things work, or maybe none of those things are possible, but the fact that you're thinking about that stuff is really absolutely it comes off really well, I think.
Definitely. So that would have been my biggest tip to myself sort of back then, and probably just relax a little bit, because I was probably a little bit nervous about putting a foot wrong. So probably try and have a little bit more confidence in myself. Would have been the other thing. But I think that's pretty much what I would say.
What do you think is the biggest difference now from now to back then, in terms of the landscape of marketing in the Northwest, and certainly in Manchester?
Well, I think you touched upon it. I think there was just a few big agencies with maybe one or two smaller agencies. I think there's a lot of smaller agencies about these days. A lot of people have sort of got experience and started their agencies and tried their hand at it as well. So I think it is quite a fierce marketplace, and if you look at the way agencies position themselves, they're all very similar. So I think a key thing these days is to try and find a little bit of differentiation between yourself and other agencies, and the way you market your agency and the way that you do things with your clients. And I think one of the biggest things for me is I always try and service clients to the best of my ability.
Tell us an interesting Simon fact.
Okay. I think an interesting story to tell would probably be when I was at university. to earn a bit of money, sort of along with student loan payments as well. I worked at an agency called Nemesis, where I did a bit of sort of acting and modelling as well. And I had some rather interesting TV appearances. Probably the most interesting would be I appeared on a TV show called Shameless as a punter in the pub. I forget the name of the pub. Do you remember the pub?
I never actually watched it.
I was a punter in the pub, and I had relations with the barmaid Karen.
Congratulations.
Yes. It involved a fruit machine and the jackpot dropping. So,
oh my goodness.
I'll let your imagination with that one.
We'll be searching YouTube for that later on to see if we could put a video of that up. Amazing! Wow, that's definitely the better claim to fame than most people that we've spoken to here. So well done.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for that, Simon.
Thank you for tuning.
I hope that was interesting. We'll be back. Yes, as I mentioned, we're chatting to David from MMU next week, so we'll have that for you then. And until then, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.